Hi guys, welcome back. It's your girl, Yummy.com. Thank you for joining me, my internet friends. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you came
away from us, so stay with me. I can make you glad you came.
If you couldn't tell by the ears and the necklace, we are going into the realm of fantasy today. For this Tipsy movie review, I'm going to journey where most people journeyed when they were younger. I was a Harry Potter kid, I guess you could say. Big on Twilight, very, very big on Twilight. But I never really got into Lord of the Rings. I didn't understand it. I was like, oh, okay, is rings?
You haven't seen it? What do you mean you haven't seen it?
I haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
There's lords. There's an eye. Until recently, I was pretty good just ignoring it like it never existed. That was how I was gonna go about my life, ignoring the fact that Lord of the Rings was ever made. I got recommended to it by people whose opinion I trust, so I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. I watched the first movie. I watched about 20 minutes of the first movie, and then I opened a bottle of Jack and started drinking and watched the rest of it. I finished it, don't doubt me, but I watched the first one and I was like, I hate this. It's so long. They're just so long. It's so long. There's nothing for me here. I hate hobbits. Why is everybody's feet out? Like, why is there such a boring main character? Like, oh my god. And Bilbo Baggins can just dunk his head underwater. I couldn't stand Bilbo. Like, you really decided that you were just gonna mess around, dick around with the ring forever, and then when you turned 100 and whatever, you were gonna make it, not your responsibility to go get this ring destroyed. No, you're gonna make it your nephew's. Not even your son, your nephew's. That's irresponsible behavior, if you ask me. Someone call child services. I don't know how old Frodo is, but they should call that child services. With that being said, I watched the first one, obviously, and then I immediately went into the second one. I was like, you know what? Let's try and push and persevere. I like that one. My issues that I had with the first one didn't go away necessarily, but there were tree people in this one, so I excused it. I'm weak. I love tree people.
Wizard should know better.
I love when trees come to life. Like, I love it. I have a Lorax tattoo. I love it. So the fact that there were tree people and, you know, there was kind of this amazing battle sequence. Oh, it was beautiful. It was lovely. It kind of saved it. So I was like, you know what? I kind of dig it. I went back. I took a break. I didn't watch the third one. I took a break. I was like, let me give myself a minute. Let me pause. I rewatched the second one, and I marveled at that battle again. It was just, not the, I can't even think, the battle at Helm, that one. That's the one that I marveled at. It was amazing, to see Gandalf come in there with his white knight.
Stand alone. Not alone. Rohirrim!
It was so amazing. And then I decided to watch the third one, and I was like, dang it, I'm hooked. Okay, I get it. I would get it a lot more if I was a white man, but I get it. Again, my thing about it, I don't know that if my grievances that I had with the first one were ever solved at any point, with all of the amazing action and the power of Orlando Bloom doing archery kind of just saved it for me, and the tree people. Like, I watched the only extended one that I watched was the last one, which I'm super glad I did, because after talking with my coworkers, like, they were like, oh, the whole thing with Sauron never happened. Not Sauron, Sodenheim, that guy. The bad wizard, the naughty wizard, the whole thing with him never happened in the thing. And I was like, I would have drove myself insane wondering what happened to that weird old man. And that means there would have been any tree people, which I would be very sad about, because I like the tree people. They were my favorite part. Anyways, that's enough rambling. I'm going to break down my pros and cons and what I liked and what it was like watching something that is so beloved by so many people at my big age, you know? That's what I really want to get down to the nitty-gritty. First fact, I completely understand why people love it. It is a beautiful fantasy world. It is shot amazingly. Like, it's just the rolling hills. Like, it looks fantastic. Besides the Hobbit's feet and Gollum's whole situation, I think it is one of the most stunning pieces that have, like, been shot. It's just so smart. The cinematography is top notch. Stands the test of time. Some of the graphics don't, I'm not gonna lie to you, but the cinematography really does. The music scoring is amazing. It is so spot on. It is so amazing, especially in the second one. It is just unforgivably great. It moved me. It moved me exactly where it was supposed to, and I really loved it. The characters were well built. The male characters, most of the male characters were well built. I am glad that Gandalf didn't die in the first one, because he became this kind of overarching badass that I really loved watching grow throughout the thing. And you would think, as this omni-powered wizard, he didn't have any growth, but you actually did get to see some of his growth. I'm sad that we missed most of his growth because it was off screen while he was living a million lives, but he had a good growth story. The same goes for the friendship between Legolas and the little dwarf guy. Great, like, growth that had to build up to their friendship. It really made it worth watching. It really made it like a buddy cop film, and I really appreciated it. The growth of the hobbits, not so much Frodo, but the growth of, like, Samwise and Merry and Pippin, like, they grew into their actual characters. Again, not so much Frodo.
Let me say something controversial yet brave, which we've really come to do on this channel.
And then, on top of all of it, the lengthy speeches that were happening, the quick dialogue pieces that were happening, didn't feel as long as they could have. The dialogue could have been worn down and been tired, but they kept it snappy. They kept the speeches engaging when they had to, but they mostly worked in the realm of conversation, which is something that the counterpart, like, say, Game of Thrones, sometimes did, but mostly didn't. Like, mostly worked in the realm of speeches. And I love a good speech, don't get me wrong, but it is fun for the conversation to be going back and forth. Those are the things that made me love this franchise. Those are the things, and tree people. Never forget the tree people. However, there were a lot of grievances that I had that I hoped would be solved throughout, but instead of my grievances being solved throughout, I think I just cared less and less about them because I gave up hope that they would be solved, and I was so enthralled with the action and the characters, some of the characters. However, there are some grievances that were never solved. It would be reckless of me not to air them out here to you, my internet friends. So, the first thing is, you know how you, like, see if movies pass the Bechdel test. The Bechdel test is basically like if you can have two female characters talk to each other, have a conversation for like more than 15 seconds that isn't about a man, like it kind of like sort of passes the Bechdel test. That's like a really rough estimate of what the Bechdel test is. This movie didn't even breathe in the Bechdel test direction, okay? There are no women, like 0 women, like 2 women. Both of their jobs are to stroke and lovingly make our main guy, our king of humans, more likable, which arguably do the opposite for me. And they never meet. They meet like once at the end, but they don't even really meet. They're just in the same kind of room. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of annoying, and it's like, it makes me so upset. Hey guys, Editing Yemi here. I just want to explain a little bit more why it upsets me. I feel like both of these characters had such a strong start with their ability to just be badasses on their own, but instead of exploring that, they were used to prop up the main male character, and it just felt like a slap in the face because they could have been so much more. And then when it came to the very end, they tried to make them so much more instead of building it. Kind of like in comparison to Game of Thrones, where you have characters like Arya and Lyanna who struggled and were building themselves up over long periods of time to actually have a satisfactory character arc.
Your son was butchered at the Red Wedding, Lord Manderley, but you refused the call. You swore allegiance to House Stark, Lord Glover, but in their hour of greatest need, you refused the call. And you, Lord Kerwin, your father was skinned alive by Ramsay Bolton. Still, you refused the call. But House Mormont remembers. The North remembers. We know no king, but the king in the North whose name is Stark. You want it? I'll give it to you. I already killed one fat boy. I bet you never killed anyone. I bet you're a liar, but I'm not. I'm good at killing fat boys. I like killing fat boys.
And not just become I am woman, hear me roar randomly.
I'm upset.
And my thing about it is that, like, if that was just the whole thing, if it was like, yeah, we're only catering to male fantasy here, dude. Like, I would much more appreciate it if they didn't try and squeeze that last little female power, I am no man, at the end. Like,
No man can kill me. Die now.
I am no man.
I loved it. I felt it, but I felt like they were probably getting flack for not having women, and they were like, you know what? We'll give them a little moment, give them a little taste, and hopefully this will assuage the female population who are really into Lord of the Rings. And it did not. Another issue that I had again was women, yes, no, non-existent. People of color, where are they? There's no person of color. No one. Like, are we supposed to be the orcs in this situation? Is this slavery all over again? I'm very confused. I just want to know where the black people are. Like, seriously, where are they? You want to explain that to me? Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't like that. The thing about with the women, I mean, like, yeah, at least there were 2 women in there and they had like one kick-ass moment and the other one slept for the 3rd film. But like, at least there was that one moment throughout the entire 76 hours that I spent watching this film. It wasn't 76, but yeah. But there were no black people. There were no people of color in this thing. And it was just kind of wild to me that in this fantasy world, we couldn't imagine up some people of color. With that being said, that was one of my first those are the big two grievances I had. The other grievance is that it is very clear who the main characters are. The main characters are Frodo and the king, the human king. They're the two main guys leading these two separate, well, first they started off together in the Fellowship and then separate journeys. Neither of these people, I didn't care about either of them.
They said, you, your drag, your whole family.
Couldn't give a fuck. Who's this? We're not even listening to what he's saying.
That's what he's got to say.
And I felt bad that I didn't care about either of them. Frodo's out here risking his life, getting emotional distress, bipolar disorder, whatever's going on with him, and I did not care, did not bat an eye at him. Like, I was just like, I don't care about you as a character. You are just really, I don't care. This doesn't feel like there's any growth with you. Like, it just feels like you are a pocket for the ring. And sometimes that pocket becomes empty. Samwise had more flavor to him than Frodo.
Do you remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo?
Why? 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 Why?
And that goes for the same. Why are these two chicks fighting over Dummy McDumbo over here, who is just like, brooding in a bar, and they're like, oh, I guess I have to become king. Like, why are they fighting over him when you have fine Legolas with his blonde hair and his bow and arrow and his pointy ears, ready to love you? Like, I mean, I guess maybe he wasn't like vibing off that. I don't know. Maybe they'll go into his love story later. I heard that they have some like love story stuff maybe in the Hobbits, but I'm definitely not watching that. I don't think I can handle it. But yeah, like he's why I made it through the first movie. I'm not gonna kid you not. He's the reason why I made it through the first movie. Another thing that I had, other than the main characters being annoying, other than there's the fact that there's no female, other than the fact there's no people of color, where are these dwarves? The whole point of this thing is to be like, okay, there were rings given to man, rings given to dwarves, rings given to elves, and Sauron has the one ring to rule them all, like a dickhead. Which I don't, that's, pause, we're gonna put a pin in that. Where are the dwarfs in this? There's one dwarf. I see one dwarf. And then I see a massacred city of dwarves and nothing else. I'm like, were those all of the dwarves? Is he gonna have to repopulate on his own? I'm very confused. I would like answers for that. Email me, okay? Okay? Tolkien, email me. I need answers. Where are the dwarves? On top of that, there just seemed to be moments where things would happen out of convenience. Where did these eagles come from? Maybe I dozed off, but I don't think I did. I don't understand these eagles. Where did they come from? Like, with the tree people, I felt like we were getting into the story. We understood these characters. There's no excuse. You have a 4-hour movie. You have four almost 5-hour movie. There's no reason why you can't explain to me why these eagles are here. Where did they come from? It should take upwards of 20 minutes for you to give me backstories on these eagles and where did they come from? And where were they when Samwise and Frodo needed to get to Mordor? Huh? Why couldn't they hop on the eagle's back? What's going on with that? And explain to me the limits of Gandalf's powers again, because I feel like I really don't understand them. Like, he seems to be this all-powerful wizard, like, so powerful that he was able to defeat the other wizard, but that other wizard was raising armies out here. So how are you more powerful than the dude who was raising armies, but you can only shoot a light beam for a small amount of time to mildly inconvenience the orcs? And then obviously your combat skills dope. But there seems like some inconsistencies in your powers, Gandalf, and I don't appreciate it. And so those were my big gripes with the series. Mostly the women and the people of color thing. Other things, the character gaps and the story gaps that I need filled. The last thing that I both love and hate is Gollum. I Okay, when I went into this, the way Gollum was always portrayed to me was like a Dobby from Harry Potter, or Yoda from like Star Wars, like a weird freakish creature that was like kind of a helpful guide and a little bit of a nuisance sometimes.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Dobby is free. He's not. He's straight up evil. He was straight up evil for most of this. Straight up evil. Why was that not explained properly? Like, why was I living my life thinking that Gollum was like a helpful little troll thing? Like, why? That has nothing to do with the story. That's more of a me personal thing, but I want to know why. I want answers for that. With that being said, I was pretty all over the place, not like my typical movie reviews, Tipsy movie reviews, where I really like get into it and dive into it and tell you the plot from top to bottom. This is more of a video if you have already watched Lord of the Rings and you were like, I wonder what someone who's never seen Lord of the Rings for 25 years of her life would think of Lord of the Rings. This is that video. This is for you specifically for that purpose. If you came here for anything else, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. But with all of my gripes, I do understand that it was made in like 2002. It was like the first one was made, and you know, I hate the saying, especially when it comes to like racism and stuff like that. Like, this isn't racism, but like when it comes to stuff like that, where it's like, you know, the times. I do understand that this was a time where we weren't putting people of color in fantasy, but to quote Tomi Adeyemi,
I never saw authors who looked like me. I didn't see characters who looked like me. And so I actually, I spent like a decade in my room alone writing stories, but there were no black characters because I didn't think black people could be in books. So what really excites me about this and all the other awesome stories that are coming out right now is it's like we're all kind of fighting for the little versions of ourselves. Yeah. So it could be like, hey, little nerd Tomi, like, write that dragon, but you can write it. Like, you know, you don't have to take yourself out of the adventures.
I'm afraid I changed my mind again.
You take a lot of chances, Lieutenant.
So do you, mister. So do you.
You still don't get it, do you? I am the authority.
I've been feeling so down. I think they should know now. I think they should know what's up. That's that road I've been down. I know how it go down. I know how it go. Now what's up? I feel like I don't belong. I feel like my life is wrong. I feel like I don't know what's up. What's up? What's up? Yeah. Hey, I ain't here to pick and choose. I ain't here to sing the blues. I'm just here to spread the clues. I'm just here to spread the news. Everybody know I do. Listen, I ain't ashamed to be white. I ain't ashamed to be black. I ain't ashamed of my beautiful Mexican wife, as a matter of fact. I know you fucking with that. And I'm not scared of the people who tell me I should be. Do what you love and don't ever wonder what it could be. Everybody from my hood. Everybody know I'm good. Sometimes I'm misunderstood, but that's just the uneducated that never related. It feel like I'm faded. It feel like I'm faded. I'm right on my mind. Tell them. Mama don't love me. Daddy don't love me. Wonder why
I crown you
you could be anything you want to be.
Guinevere,
Set the person you don't want to be. Let them hate, let them love. Wondering if everybody still
Queen of Camelot.
When that push gonna shove, make me wanna pull it with a gat in the glove. Like, I just wanna be free. Not a slave to the stereotype. All alone in my room in the middle of the night. I don't have the words, but my stereo mic. I don't wanna be black, I don't wanna be white. I just wanna be a man today. I don't wanna be a Christian, Muslim, gay, straight, or bi. See you later, bye. Not perceived by the things I believe, or the color of my skin, or the fact I'm attracted to her, maybe him, or the fact I'm a single mother living all alone. Looking for a man in a home to call my own, but I already had one. The only man I'ma ever need is my son, my son, my son, my son, son. Say, black is beautiful, black is beautiful. Be black and proud, be black and proud. Fuck everybody hating on me right now. I'm black and proud, black and proud. I'm just as white as that Mona Lisa. I'm just as black as my cousin Keisha. I'm biracial, so bar Felicia. Praise black Jesus, not called a preacher. Maybe Jesus was black, maybe Jesus had dreads. Spider-Man should be black. I vote for Glover instead. Glover instead. Like what's up? I vote for more and 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 more. I've been feeling so down. I think they should know now. I think they should know what's up. That's that road I've been down. I know how it go down. I know how it go. Now what's up? I feel like I don't belong. I feel like my life is wrong. I feel like I don't know what's up. What's up? What's up?
But he had what he needed. He had love. He never lost sight of what was really important.
Easy with that. Careful.
And neither will I.
I make this look good.
So it does make me a little sad that me personally as a character would not fit anywhere in this world. And if I was in this world, I would probably just be a barmaid that one of the hobbits would marry at the end. I wouldn't really have a big role in this. But I mean, that's what you have to work with. The same thing goes with Star Wars. Like, I love Star Wars so much. Just like how I'm starting to like really love Lord of the Rings. But like, I'd be remiss if I mean, at least they had Princess Leia. That's what you always like hope for. Padme and Princess Leia. But like, they were like no characters of color, for real. Like, obviously we have Lando. God bless Lando. He was a real one. He showed us what representation looked like. Lando, our king. But obviously, yeah. So that's kind of where I land with it. You know, I understand the time period, but it's like, okay, I understand like color, race, putting black people in fantasy wasn't like popular or whatever is the argument for that. But like, come on, women, we've been around for years. I mean, so have black people, but like, come on, women, like you had, like literally one of the women she was just asleep. She was like, maybe we should put this sword together. That was her whole role. And then she came out in a crown in the end. I want her role. I wonder how much money she collected in a check for that. With that being said, I will let us all go. I do want to give this a rating. I love it. I do really love Lord of the Rings. I do. I am going to give this film series, this franchise, this trilogy, absinthe. A shot of absinthe. The little absinthe with the cube, the sugar cube and the absinthe. That's what I'm going to give it. Because although it is very dangerous, and by dangerous I mean lacks women and people of color and has some serious flaws with their main character, white dudes, and a lot of hobbit feet, which I do not appreciate. It had Orlando Bloom sliding off of an elephant trunk. Which will live in my memory forever as one of the most beautiful scenes in cinema and possibly the hottest. And also, like, the cinematography of the battles were just excellently executed and literally laid the groundwork for all the Game of Thrones battles. That's someone really smart told me that, and they're absolutely right. Like, they laid the battles for the Battle of the Bastards. Like, you see the similarities side by side of the Battle of Helm and the Battle of the Bastards.
stand to run. Not alone. Go hit him!
Immediately, especially, and even in that last battle with the White Walkers, it's the same like vibe of when they're trying to crawl up the wall. The White Walkers are like crawling up the wall, and then the orcs are like putting up the ladders to get up the wall.
Come on!
So it's the same vibe. So you have to pay tribute to the original. So I'm gonna give it some absinthe. And hopefully I can get so high off the absinthe that I imagine black people. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Yummy.com. Don't worry, I will be back. So stay tuned, my internet friends.